Hello and welcome back to JVCTR. For those that are new, my name is Johnny and today we're fitting some lowering springs to my MK8 Fiesta ST. So yes, today you join me at SCC Performance in St Albans where we're going to be fitting some lowering springs to my MK8 Fiesta ST. Now the purpose of this video is to show you kind of how you can do this if you want to do this at home, but also the merits of getting it done professionally at a place like SCC. So without further ado, let's get the car in the garage and let's crack on. So in terms of the suspension kit that we are using today, we are using these. They are ST suspension lowering springs by KW. Now these should provide a drop of 20mm all round, which is fairly similar to the springs I had on my Mark 7. And if that experience is anything to go by, then these should provide enough of a drop to provide an increase in handling, but not enough of a drop so that you're scraping on speed bumps and stuff. And of course it looks cool too. So these are ideal for sort of day-to-day, that kind of stuff. So if you fancy a set of these, there is a link in the description to the SCC Performance shop where these are always in stock. So yeah, feel free to pick up a set for yourself. Now in terms of fitting, we're going to start with the rears because they're a little bit easier, and then we'll move on to the fronts a little bit later.
Once your car is safely in the air, be it on axle stands or on a lift as we're using here, you'll need something to support the rear beam. Here we're using a transmission jack, but if you're on axle stands you can use a trolley jack. Once you've supported the rear beam, you can undo the bolt holding the shock absorber to the beam. You can then slowly lower the beam down, releasing tension on the rear springs. We started with the driver's side. On the passenger side, you also need to undo the headlight leveling sensor, but otherwise the process is the same. You should now be able to remove the springs. If they don't come out freely, you'll need to lower the rear beam a little further.
Okay, so now the rear springs are off the car, we can kind of get an idea as to what the reviewers are talking about when they talked about banana-shaped springs. And in actual fact, the reason they're banana-shaped is because they are wound separate ways for left and right. Now, if you move over to the KW ones, or ST suspensions, whatever you want to call them, you can see they've kind of followed the same methodology. So left and right are wound slightly different ways, and they're kind of banana-shaped, and these are yellow too, so they're more banana-y than the stock ones, if you want to go down that route. Anyway, as you can see, the lowered ones are slightly shorter, but noticeably heavier for some reason. But anyway, let's get them on the car and see what it looks like.
Inserting the new springs is the same process as removal, but in reverse.
Hey, I don't get what this is about. You got my head spinning on my shoulders. I feel it burn inside of my chest. See the lines as they blur out. I can feel it knocking me out. You're bringing me higher and higher in every way. And all of my doubts, I can feel them fading away. Oh, you're like a fantasy. I know this can't be real.
Remember to tighten up your headlight leveling sensor on the passenger side. If using an air gun, it's always good to double check that the bolts are sufficiently tightened by hand.
Cause I can't believe that I get to have you.
Okay, so that is the rears done, pretty simple. And now we move on to the fronts, which are a little bit more complex. So the plan is to lower the car down, remove the front wheels, get the struts out. Once the struts are off the car, we can then remove the springs and replace them, and then we can offer the whole strut back up to the car, put the wheels back on, and that should be job done. So here's how you do it.
First up, you need to remove the front wheels. Next up, it's time to undo the drop links. We're loosening them with an air gun before removing them using a 15mm spanner and a 5mm hex key. You'll now need to unclip the ABS sensor. Unfortunately, these plastic clips are likely to break, but we were lucky on both sides. The brake line holder also needs to be removed from the strut. On the passenger side, you'll also need to remove the headlight levelling sensor, as you can see here. Lastly, it's time to remove the hub to strut bolts. On the Mark 8, these are splined, so you may need to tap them out using a hammer. And that's it for the passenger side, so now we just need to repeat the process for the driver's side.
Now on this side we were intending just to sort of give you a general overview of what happens, because you've seen how to do this on the other side, but on the driver's side we've actually run into a slight issue. So the hub to nut bolts are actually in the other way round, which means when you try and remove them they hit the brake lines, and we cannot find another way around that brake line other than removing the brake caliper. So that's what we'll do now.
To remove the caliper, you first need to remove this metal clip. We used a trim removal tool as we didn't want to scratch the red paint on the caliper. On the rear of the caliper, there are 2 bolts which will need to be undone. The caliper can now be removed and stashed safely, so the hub to strut bolts can be removed. Now it's time to lower the car down and start on the top mounts.
So now we move on to the top mounts, and if I'm honest it looks a bit fiddly under first impressions. So this scuttle panel is right on top of where we need to get to. So plan is to try and get a spanner in there and see if we can get it off. If not, we're gonna have to remove the scuttle panel, which is a lot of work, but hopefully we can get them off with just a spanner.
Firstly, we remove the end screws holding down the scuttle panel to give us a little more access to the top mounts. It was then a case of slowly but surely undoing the 3 30mm nuts on the top mounts by sliding a spanner under the scuttle panel. When you're undoing the last nut, take a hold of the strut to ensure that it doesn't drop before safely removing it from the vehicle, and then repeat the same process for the other side.
So as you can see, the front struts are now off the car, and now it's just a case of undoing that top mount bolt, removing the spring, putting the new ones on, and then redoing the top mount on the top. Now, just a word of warning, please use spring compressors if you're doing this, and don't try firing them off because it's horrendously dangerous and you'll hurt yourself. So get yourself a decent set of spring compressors and then away you go. And talking of spring compressors, we're going to be using a hydraulic spring press because we have one available to use. But if you're doing it at home, these are the bad boys that you want to be looking out for. So these are just a case of you sort of latch them onto the top and bottom of the spring, do it up using a gun or by hand if you're a bit mad. But yeah, these are the things you're looking out for. Highly recommended. Please don't fire them off.
Safety announcement over. We can now remove the springs. So to do this, firstly compress the stock spring. When the springs are safely compressed, undo the bolt on the top of the strut mount using an 18mm spanner and a 6mm hex key. You should now be able to remove the top mount and the damper.
So now we've got our first spring off the car. We have the first opportunity, I guess, to compare them with the ST suspensions by KW. And in terms of weight, they're pretty much the same, to be honest, on the fronts. But when we lay them down like that, I mean, they're quite a lot shorter, and I can see that the spring is slightly thicker than stock too.
When installing lowering springs, you can sometimes get away without using spring compressors as the spring is physically shorter. That is the case here, so we can simply build the strut back up without the need for compressing the spring. When reinstalling the top mount, ensure the lugs in the metal plate line up with the moulded plastic plate. Once you're happy with the way the metal plate is sitting, rebuild the strut using the same 18mm spanner and 6mm hex key. Remember to pull down the dust guard once the spring has been installed and ensure that it's clipped onto the damper at the bottom. This is easier said than done. And that is your first strut complete. Repeat the process for the other strut. When it comes to reinstalling the strut, firstly offer it up to the vehicle and thread one of the 13mm nuts onto the top mount to hold it in place. You can then add the remaining 2 bolts and do them up hand tight. When you're happy with how the strut is sitting in the arch, you can continue to tighten up the top mounts using a 13mm spanner. Now repeat the process for the other side. And that's the work on the top mounts complete, so we can now do up the bolts on the scuttle panel to secure it in position. Inside the wheel arch, reinstalling the struts is the same as the removal process but in reverse. First you start by reinstalling the hub to strut bolts. Place the brake caliper on the driver's side. And next up, it's time to reattach the ABS sensors. And the drop links using a 15mm spanner and a 5mm hex key, and the last step for this side is reattaching the brake line holders. Again, repeat the process for the passenger side and remember to reattach the headlight levelling sensor. Lastly, but certainly not least, is to put the wheels back on. You can now lower the car down, torque the wheels up and take it out for that all-important test drive to ensure there are no abnormal knocks or bangs.
So that is the springs fitted and the car is looking awesome. Although I'm not going to show it to you just yet because there's one more step we need to take, and that is to do alignment. Now, if you make any kind of suspension changes at all, it's always advisable to do an alignment check, which is exactly what we're going to do now.
Aligning a car is a pretty cool process. So firstly, you need to attach the equipment to the car. The black plastic caps need to touch the very edge of the alloy in order to provide a correct reading. These arms on either side then clamp the equipment to the tyre to ensure it doesn't move. When the equipment has been attached, it's time to load the laser modules. The rear modules communicate with the front modules via a laser running front to rear. The two front modules have a laser line under the car at the front, as you can see here. It's these lasers that form a square and allow the computer to understand how the car is set up. The modules communicate to the computer via Bluetooth and compare the geometry on the car with a predefined ideal setup, which is stored on their database. The computer will then ask the engineer to perform a number of actions on the car before advising the adjustments required. For my car, it required a slight tweak of the steering rack on the driver's side front to get everything back in line after the suspension changes. This made the computer very happy as it all went green.
So there you have it, that's how you install a set of lowering springs on a MK8 Fiesta ST. Now of course a massive thanks goes to Pat for fitting the springs and also to Phil for aligning the car afterwards. Now if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my Fiesta and other car content, then please feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next video.
There goes a sight from my soul.